Another day, another religious movie review, I guess. I feel like I've reviewed five or six of religious movies this year alone. I don't know how many I've watched, maybe seven or eight. It's been kind of ridiculous. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention in previous years to how many religious movies come out, but yeah, here we are with another one. And this time it's a horror movie, Carpenter's Son, starring Nicolas Cage, and first time director as well for the director. So yeah, a lot of nothingness going into this movie, but I was a little excited for this. I mean, in a horror movie based on supposedly a story I thought might have been in the Bible. Apparently, it's not even canon. None of this movie is, or none of the story this movie's based on is canon at all, and it's actually pretty it's highly opposed. Which, I mean, I didn't know. The Bible had these non-canon stories like this. I know there's some, but I didn't know there was so many, and this is one of them. And I kind of get it. And I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm just gonna start this quickly. I gave this movie a 2 out of 10. It's very boring and it's very shit. Um, it's kind of hard to like a religious movie with Jesus as the main character if Jesus is kind of a cunt the entire time. Maybe it's just how I perceived him most of my life and how movies have shown him probably in every single movie I've seen is that he's not a cunt. But in this movie is an angsty teenager who's horny and a dick. So don't know what they were thinking here. I mean, it just really doesn't work. Is there really not there's plenty of stories in the Bible and whatever other religious texts they have that they could have done with the horror genre, and instead they do a non-canon one, and it just doesn't work at all for me, at least. This movie's runtime is an hour 34, I believe, and there was only one other person in the theater with me. He fell asleep, I think, 20 minutes in, and he woke up 10 minutes afterwards, watched another 10 minutes of the movie, and then left. Um, if the, if that doesn't get you thinking about how bad this movie is, then yeah, it's really bad. I mean, it's really bad. There's almost no positives I can say for this except one thing, which is why it's not a 1 out of 10. And that one thing is Nicolas Cage. And I thought this new direction Nicolas Cage has been going in his career with long legs, and this year we had Surfer, which I really loved. Um, I thought he was being a bit smarter with what movies he's been picking this late into his career, and I guess that wasn't completely true, especially when you consider he's one of the producers of the movie. Why this movie sucks balls? But at least he looks like he's having fun in it, and I think his performance is the best out of anyone. But even then, it's kind of ruined by how bad the script is. I mean, the writing in this movie is just unbelievably shit. It feels like I'm listening to people read off a book instead of, acting from a script that they have, and none of it works. I mean, FKA Twigs, Noah, who plays Jesus, and every single extra, they're all talking in like this old English style, and it works in some capacity, and I really appreciate that they tried going that route, but all the lines and dialogue just straight up feel like they're reading possibly this story just straight up out of the book, which is upsetting. It feels like there was no creative liberties here, and they just made this boring ass script. I don't know. I feel like I could have just listened to an audiobook instead of watching this movie because to be honest, the everything visually didn't really matter because you could close your eyes and probably get the same exact thing, um, which is unfortunate. And visually, this movie does suck. If you were wondering, this movie sucks so much visually. It is one of my ugliest movies I've seen this year. It's not going to beat BFFs. I mean, BFFs is impossible to beat with how ugly it is. So that's a good thing going for them, but it is poorly lit. A lot of the camera shots are really weird. The editing is god awful, and There is one solid shot throughout the entire movie, and it's in the final scene where Jesus is walking down the rocks towards his mother, and there's a single shot of him with the blue sky background behind him, and it looks gorgeous, and it kind of looks like the original Planet of the Apes movie. And then they immediately go back to the modern looking film and everything, and it just looks like shit again. I don't know. I kind of wish this movie felt a bit older, felt like something that came out in the 80s or 90s because it might have worked better visually. The movie still sucks, but it would have worked a lot better visually. The CGI is dog shit. The snakes, I don't know. Is what is up with modern CGI just being so bad? The snakes are unbelievably ugly, and they don't look like they're even there. Um, a lot of the weird putrid stuff happening to the people, that CGI doesn't look good either. I understand some of them might be makeup, but there's definitely a lot of CGI used, and it doesn't look good at all. The entire final fight, I guess you can call it, between Satan and Jesus was just rough. It's really bad. Really, really bad. Yeah. The whole movie's just a bore to get through. Like I said earlier, it's an hour 34 minutes. If someone told me before I went in there, before I looked at the time or anything, that it was a 4 hour movie, I would have believed them by the time I left. And that's saying a lot. I mean, it's such a short movie, and yet it feels like the longest movie I've seen this entire year. And I watched one battle after another, which was, I think, actually 3 hours long. I mean, it's unbelievable how poorly paced, everything just so dragged out and boring and slow. And it feels like you get so much stuff repeated in this movie that you didn't need it. I don't know. It's a shame. I think FKA Twigs as well. I didn't mention this earlier, but I think she was completely wasted. I don't know if I've seen her in any other movies. I could be wrong. But I'm a fan of hers, so I was kind of hoping for something out of her in this movie. She doesn't get much. She's sidelined a lot by Jesus, of course, and Nicolas Cage has a huge part in this movie for obvious reasons. But I don't know. I wish we got more of her. I wish we got more Twigs, but it's okay because this movie sucks. So I guess I can't put any of the blame on her. If you haven't seen Carpenter's Son, I don't recommend it. It's gonna be out of theaters very soon, which is nice. Very short, not feeling short. It's just dog shit. I have nothing else to say. It's just a bad movie.